Welcome back to my hobby room here. I am LJ, and today I have a little craft that makes a card, but in a different way than what you're maybe used to. So this set was a paint and display. It was one of these sun catcher kits. You can get these for really cheap. I've seen them at the Dollar Tree. This was in a set from Michaels that was in one of the grab bags. And I got it for my grandchildren. And actually what happened is we got them, and by the time we opened them, they were all dried up. I don't think that was the way it's supposed to be. But I said, hey, let's just use some craft paint. So my grandson and I painted them. So they come with 4 different ones, and he did a puppy. I saved these because I thought in my mind, maybe I'll get to these some other time, or he can paint one and I'll paint the other, or maybe my granddaughter will paint it. But I painted the butterfly. And here's what the butterfly looks like when you paint it. And the reason I'm not painting one of these on camera for you is because it was not my favorite thing I've ever done. I would do it with a grandchild to, pass the time with them and have fun with them, but I wouldn't do it on my own because I didn't enjoy it. But here's what it looks like on this side. Now remember, a sun catcher is supposed to be able to see through it. You cannot see through this at all. So I wasn't really enjoying that. However, I did get, when you turn it over, this cool look. And I thought it looked really neat. And I thought to myself, hey, you know what? That would make a great card. So I thought I would put it on here. And I thought, well, this would look good, right? If you put it on here. And the problem I'm having is that it has this printing in here. I don't know if you can see it or not on the... So it has this printing, and what I thought would be good is if we put something over it. So I kept looking, and I decided that probably the best thing to do would be to put it on a different background, not on the white, because the white really highlights that. But I've got this great butterfly, so I cut it in a 5x10 so it could be a square card, and I used the back, you can see the back here, I cut out from this set that I got from Hero Arts. It's a Stampin' Cut set. This is going to come in very handy at this moment. So the Stampin' Cut means that they give you a die, which was the hello there, and then they don't give you anything, you pay for it. Or I think this one may have been an incentive, so maybe it was if you spend so much, but whatever, you know what I'm saying. But I thought this thinking of you would go right across that, and you wouldn't see it, and it would look pretty cool. But it needs to be on something that's not going to take too much away from the butterfly. Also, just a little heads up, I did cut off using my die cutting little pliers that I have, and then I'm going to sand it like that just so it's not a rough edge. But I cut it off because it had a little hole in there, and the hole is for you to hang a sun catcher, obviously. But see the hole right here? So, but I thought, hey, you know what? I'm just going to cut those off. I used my little pliers that you use when you get dies. I'm sure you have them if you get a lot of dies because you need them. I mean, not everybody, like Gina K's, I believe, come all cut off, and that's really nice, but not all of them do. So if you ever need them, you need a little pair of pliers like this. I believe I got these at either a thrift store or something like that. Just a little pair of pliers. And I was like, these are perfect. Or may have been an estate sale now that I think about it. It was a used way to get them because they were like $1. I mean, they're not that much if you go to buy them at the Dollar Tree, but I just don't know how much they'll last. Those will probably last the rest of my life. Again, you see this little guy across here is kind of taking away from the actual design if you turn it over. So here's the thing. If you keep it like this, it doesn't look very pretty. I could probably sand down all the up high and make it look better, but I don't think it's worth it. I just don't. If you would wanted to do that, you could probably, after you do this, you could sand it down flat with one of those one of the bricks, and then stamp it. I mean, just put it in some ink to get this all black, everything up high black. I mean, that's possible. Or if you had a real steady hand going around it with ink, or even a alcohol marker. I just don't care to do that. I think it looks pretty cool on this side. And just that little thing is the only thing keeping it from being really cool. If it didn't have that on it. So what I would do is I would look for another one and really look and see if it has any markings on it. Because I think it's kind of a neat idea. Like, this flower is really pretty neat. And I think if I painted it very carefully and tried it, it wasn't fun to me. I'll do it with another kid at some point, but I mean, it just wasn't my thing. So I try to spend my time doing the things I really like doing. And this is what I really like doing is this kind of thing, figuring out how to make this work. So the first thing we need to do is, and if you hear my dog snoring, I'm sorry. Here we are. I'm going to get rid of this stuff off my desk because I don't have enough room as it is. So let's get rid of that stuff off the desk, especially the paint that wasn't there. I'm not real happy with that. That was rather disappointing that there was no paint in there when we went to use them. I mean, I could just go up to the Dollar Tree and buy one of those sets and use the sun catcher, use the paint out of that, I guess, or, you know, doesn't matter what set it is, just to get some paint, but a little disappointing. So these are 5 by 10, so it should be right at 5 is what I'm going to score this at. And then I do like to do this part. And I know what you're going to say. Hey, you can't use that on the inside of that card because you can't write on it. But we got a way to fix that. And what we do is we put a piece of paper over it. If you've been around for a while, you probably know that. But a lot of times new people watch these videos and, you know, they may not think of that. They're like, oh, we can't use that. And so I try to, it's not that I think nobody knows these things. It's that I'm trying to make sure that the people who are new or haven't seen it before are not, you know, I'm not assuming anybody knows everything. Nobody knows everything, but you know what I'm saying. So it's very pretty, but I think I make a shape and put a shape in here. I do have a recipient in mind for this, so that's why they were just recently sick and then they lost somebody both. So I'm going to put, I'm thinking of you, and then hello there. Let's round these edges too. I think rounding the edges always gives it a little bit. But I thought it would look spring-like and it would look a little bit different. And I thought this recipient would really like the butterfly as a, I think it looks really nice on here. That thing drives me nuts. So, because normally what I would think would be nice would be to put vellum across it, but I'm trying to hide it, so I don't want you to see it. And I do have this pretty purple, and it's kind of thick. I'm thinking I might use this pretty, because it's got purple in there. That purple is pretty similar. It's like a lilac. So I think what I might do is do that. So let's, this thinking of you, I'm going to stamp this thinking of you on here. And I'm going to, I'm going to use this little guy here, and I'm going to stamp it a couple times, and then we'll cut it out. I do have that yellow is nice and bright, but I think the lilac being in here will be nice because it'll be, that first one's not going to be very good, I can tell already. I don't think it's going to be very good, so we're going to put it on here. Give it a chance to, it's not bad for a first one. Don't forget that when you first use your stamps, again, if you don't know, when you first use your stamps, the first couple of them, it's good to like wipe them off a little bit and kind of prep them. I like to stamp them on something else just to make sure they're going to stamp okay before I stamp them on something I care about. And I'm going to try to make this kind of straight. Yeah, it came out pretty good. So while I'm here, I'm going to do a couple more because then I put them in my little container up here and have them when I need some. And especially thinking of you are very useful. And now I ran out of those, so and I've got it loaded already. Actually, I've got this yellow already cut over here. I'm going to put it on here so I have it for later. That's one of the best tips I ever got from anybody, is when you're making one or two of something, make 3 or 4. And future you will be delighted that you have them when you're in a hurry or you just want something to finish up a card. So now I've got 4 of them rather than 1. And I think those are very useful to have. Thinking of you is always good. I really like this font. That's one of my favorite fonts. And Hero Arts is one of my favorite companies, actually. They make a lot of good products. I'm trying to get this a little bit closer, but you see how it turns into a little bit thinner, a little bit thinner, a little bit thinner. And I think this Thinking of You right across here will not look bad. I think I'm going to go a little bit smaller, closer to it yet. This is very thick paper, by the way. And it's nice that it's thick, but it cuts different. So, all right, let's try this one. Yeah. I think we're going to put it across like that. And it's going to pretty much cover that up. It's going to make it less noticeable, I think, or less obvious that it's there. And I'm not going to worry about it too much. I think it looks cute. All right, so I want the hello there. I think we're going to put it down here in the corner. This foam that has a backing on it that's adhesive. I've used this before. This is really nice for a project like this because you don't have to worry about building it up. You put it on here and it's pretty much automatically built up for you. So I thought the blue would kind of match the blue in there. I know this has got the green, and there's green in there. So I thought it would be nice. We'll take all of these out. Having some of this ready, that all you got to do is cut it out, is really nice because your dies will cut this out really easily. And that part's nice. A little bit of a, there you go, the E is hanging on there. I always feel like these little pieces could do something, but I've saved them before, and in the end, I've never ever used them for anything. It just seems like there should be a use for them. I feel like finding a use for them, like some sort of way to use them, would be kind of a cool mission. You have to look into that. All right, so here's the hello there. And I'm going to glue this on to there. And again, this is the back of that. And then we'll put a nice little sheet inside. Maybe I'll even use that purple paper inside to write on, the lavender that has the same color, as the same paper as the Thinking of You on the inside. So putting this on here, I'm going to put some double-sided tape on here. That's right. And then I will see how I'm going to adhere that. But I think the double-sided tape is the way to go to get this to stick. I think that's my best option to get it to stick. It's got enough area, I believe, to help it. So I'm going to try and do that. And if I go back and look at it and it doesn't look like it's sticking later, I will go with some hot glue. The problem I'm having is I can't find my hot glue gun. I would recommend probably hot glue would be your best bet for this. But I can't find mine. Don't know why I can't find it, but I can't find it. I've looked everywhere. I am sure I put it somewhere thinking this is a good place for it, and I can't find it. That's how often I use it. I wonder if it's in one of my drawers. Maybe I put it in one of my drawers thinking that would be a good place for it, you know? I always think it's everywhere and then it's never anywhere. Any of the places I look at. But I've looked everywhere for it and I don't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hello there first. Take off the... And this seems to stick really well. I like that you can kind of see the blue in here. I think that looks cute. And then you can see where I want to put him. Maybe I want to go this way with it. Yeah, I think that would be cuter. Okay, let's go that way with it. Hopefully this will stick pretty good. We'll see, won't we? Double-sided tape usually sticks pretty good. But I think hot glue would be the way to go. If you gotta be careful with hot glue with the paper, depending on how thick your paper is. The paper I chose is not the thickest. I really like the design on it, but maybe I would even use a little bit thicker paper if I was using hot glue, just to make sure that it would not just dissolve the paper when the hot glue hits it. But that might not happen at all. I'm just speculating at this point because I don't really use hot glue very much. Obviously, that's why I've lost my hot glue gun, because I don't use it that often. But I really like regular glue. I like the matte media matte, what is it called? The Ranger stuff. I like that. I like you know, art glitter glue sticks to almost anything. All right, so I'm going to go with that, and it seems to be doing just fine. Where's my thinking of you? This is the one you know what, I'm going to put one on here too, because I don't know that that's going to stick as well as I would like it to with just regular glue, but I could put glue on here too. The matte medium, that's what I'm thinking of. The matte medium, is that it? Matte medium? That stuff it sticks to almost anything. I mean, people use those in makes, and you see them sticking to metal and glass and you name it, you know, almost anything. So I would think that that would be a good one. So a lot of times if you know, people use whichever one that is, 900, I don't know, 600, Oh, I know you're saying right now, I remember what it is. Why can't you remember that? Everyone knows what it is. E6000, E something or another. But when you're in the middle of doing something else and all of a sudden you're trying to remember that, sometimes it's not as easy. I all the time tell my friends on YouTube exactly what they're thinking of, and sometimes it works. It goes right through the TV and they hear it. I swear to you. I'm going to cut this one side just a little bit more because it's a little bit uneven. Okay. And oh, I think that's sweet. All right. The hello there is fun. It's a little wonky, but it's fun. I like the way it like with the design. Then when you see it, when you open it up, you see like that right away. I think it goes with it pretty well. It's a little bit wonky. I'm a little worried that I'm not going to like the way it's sitting, so I'm going to try and pull it off, which sometimes works. Now this is the problem. Once you pull it off like this, you probably are going to have to glue it to get it. I just don't like it's a little bit wonkier than I would like it to be. I like things to be somewhat straight. Come on, little guy. There you go. I think we're gonna have to pull it up now and glue the whole thing down because it's I just don't like how the H was a little too crooked for me. It looked fine when I put it down, then it didn't look fine 5 minutes later. Have you ever done that? Sometimes things look straighter later, and sometimes things look not as straight later. So this one I got to get right. If I don't get this one right, so what I'm going to do is line it up over here. I'm going to try and line it up there, and then going across here. There we go. Okay, and then this one is not happy with this, so we're going to have to make it go down too. Okay. Now let's put a little block on here. Let's see if that'll help hold that down. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is get one of these. Oh, excuse me. This is square, so it's a little odd. I love these for putting them inside, but I don't like that it's square and it's not going to come out square. I'd have to do a square one. All right, I think we're going to go with this one since it was available in my scrap bin. I think it'll be perfect. And now what I would suggest if you're going to put these in the mail, which this is going to go in the mail, what I would suggest is putting it in a regular envelope and centering it and putting just something on each side of it, mainly because they'll charge you more postage, and you might as well just pay regular postage for it because they don't like square for some reason. It's a very odd thing. I could have rounded the edges on this, but I didn't, so here we are. The other thing I would like to do is probably put a little bit of this butterflies inside, or a butterfly of some sort inside, to kind of bring in the outside inside. So what I'd like to do with this, I think it'd be cute since it's got the butterflies going across it. Why don't we just do this? Put it like this. And match it up exactly, so it's exactly. I think that would be good. So sometimes I just cut it and hope, but this one's a little bit off, so I'm gonna make a little pencil mark and then cut it. Okay. Then let me glue this down. And I'm just going to write a note on there, a handwritten note. I could put something in there, but I really want the room for the note that, you know, just says, you know, I'm thinking about you and hoping all is well, and feel up to it, give me a call sometime. Something like that, you know, right in here. There's not a lot of real estate to write right there. And I think that came out really good. I'll probably put a stamp of a butterfly on the envelope. But that's our project for today. It's a sweet little hello there, thinking of you, using the little butterfly that we made. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it gave you a little inspiration to send a card to someone you know. Keep crafting. And dance by the light of the moon.